I'm Brittany Barron. For those of you that don't know me, I run our product marketing department here at ShipBob, and my team also puts on this event. So thank you so much for joining us here. And you're also in my home state, Texas, so thanks for coming in. I am so excited to have Lauren from It's a 10 and Matt from Jones Road Beauty with me today. You know, ShipBob supports many beauty and personal care brands. It's one of our top industries, and I'm joined by some of the best that we support. So thank you for being here today.
Oh, thank you.
Lauren, I'll start with you. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself, It's a 10, and what you do there.
Okay, so I'm a vice president of digital marketing and e-commerce for It's a 10 Haircare. We're actually one of the largest hair care brands worldwide. You might know us for our Miracle Leave-In Conditioner. It's our #1 selling product. It's in so many retailers online. And we sell about 10 million bottles of that every year. So it's a really well-known product. And I've been with It's a 10 now for 7 years.
Wow.
Running their e-commerce. So I oversee all digital marketing and e-commerce initiatives.
That's great. And we were chatting before. Mm-hmm. I think I was introduced to It's a 10 in like Birchbox, maybe 10, 15 years ago.
Yes. Yeah. And
yes.
The brand's actually, it's coming up on their 20th year anniversary next year. So it's been around for a bit. And it's a really like a cult following we have for the leave-in conditioner.
For sure, and easy to find too.
Yep.
Thank you for letting us use your product in the fulfillment games earlier. We appreciate
Hopefully it wasn't
that.
damaged. But
No, we were extra careful.
Okay.
Yeah. And Matt?
Hi, my name's Matt. I work for Jones Road Beauty, founded by Bobby Brown about 5 years ago. We are pioneering the no makeup and clean beauty premise. And I have been there for about 2 years. I spent most of my career in supply chain with luxury and other beauty brands. And I oversee supply chain and customer management.
Awesome. Y'all both oversee CX. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk about that a little bit more. So we'll just dive right into fulfillment and supply chain, because I know a lot of folks, especially beauty brands in the audience, are wanting to hear how y'all are setting the standard for all things fulfillment. So at the foundation of logistics and supply chain is really, I think, inventory planning. And that can be a little tricky, especially in beauty and personal care. You're gonna have, potentially a large catalog, variations, lots of SKUs. Then you have seasonality, product life cycle. So Matt, starting with you, how do you think about inventory planning?
Yeah, I think nobody ever works for a company where the SKU count decreases, right? So trying to add that complexity into a beauty brand, especially keeping values that you want to hold true. We're very big in inclusivity, so we have face pencils and we have 25 shades. So now we have to make sure that we have 25 shades worth of SKUs available at all of our facilities. We just launched an SPF product this year, and based on the different kinds of regulations, we have 5 SKUs in the US, we have 5 SKUs in Canada, we have 5 SKUs in the EU. So making sure that we have sufficient inventory of all of these things through our global network is a challenge, but the ShipBob systems have really helped us to maintain our perfect inventory balance.
Awesome, and I think are you using ShipBob's dashboard to really manage a lot of it, or are you using other tools?
From a supply chain standpoint, yes, we do have a demand planning team, and they do a great job of setting out forecasts. But something like the inventory velocity report really helps us on a day-to-day basis just to see, in the short term, what do we need to maybe look at? What have we oversold? What can we transfer between facilities? So it really helps us.
Awesome. That's great to hear. Lauren, what about you?
Yeah, so we use ShipBob for our main source of truth for our e-commerce inventory. So when we send all the products, and by the way, we have about 70 SKUs now. So the leave-in is what we're known for, but we have a lot of other SKUs as well that sell a lot, and they're all at ShipBob. So we send it, we're part of the IPP also, so we have 3 warehouses currently in Dayton, New Jersey, Bolingbrook, and Rancho Domingo, California. So we've kind of gotten in each area for a better experience for a customer. But as far as inventory, we use ShipBob's number, and then that syncs into our Shopify, and we make sure that matches up at all times. The best that we can, and it's been so helpful for us to be able to use ShipBob for inventory for e-commerce. For the rest of the network, there is a separate inventory when it comes to retail, but for e-commerce online, we use ShipBob for our inventory planning management and making sure that everything is correct in our Shopify store.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great to hear that's working for you.
Yeah.
And just let us know in the feedback sessions tomorrow if you need
Okay.
anything else for inventory planning.
Yeah.
All right. This next area I think is loaded. Y'all both had a lot to say when we were
Yeah.
prepping. So, when we think outbound orders, beauty brands have really complex logistics. So depending on the product, you could have fragile products. I know we talked about, Lauren, there's compliance requirements,
Hazmat.
turnover. And then on top of that, I think we've heard from a variety of folks today, like customer expectations constantly evolving, constantly getting higher and higher. But I think it's even more so with beauty space.
Yes.
Because folks expect that beautiful, unboxing and packaging and the products themselves. So,
Yeah.
Lauren, let's start with
Okay.
you.
So this is one of my favorite topics. So this is like a vent session. This is great. But I would say, so beauty in general, the expectation is extremely high. And the reason why is because with beauty products, particularly hair care, they have it out on their counter. They have it out. It's not something that goes in a cabinet or underneath the sink. So people expect the product to look and arrive really good. So if you're talking even like a scratch or a dent or something's wrong with it, we get yelled at, all that on customer service, and the whole caps and the exclamation points, the whole thing. And so the expectation for it to arrive perfectly is really high. On top of that, we're shipping liquids, heavy. We have liter bottles, some of the shampoo and conditioner. So the even one little leak, we will hear it'll like touch the other product. Everybody wants a replacement and a damage. So we have to limit, how much people can buy, which we were able to do that in ShipBob's platform. So we've had to do a lot of order limits. It's very difficult to ship, particularly if people order more than 6 items. The weight of that is really high. Then we have the hazmat, on top of it. I would think that in the industry, hair care is probably the hardest to ship outside of like fragrances, anything that's glass. But for us, even one little leak is considered a damage. If you're buying cleaning products or something like that, people aren't really going to reach out, or if there's a scratch on a cleaning product, nobody really says anything. If there's a scratch on a bottle with shampoo and conditioner they're leaving, we hear about that all the time. So over the past 5 years, and we'll get into a little bit later, we have spent so much time trying to perfect how to actually get 6 items, if that's our limit right now, order, to the customer using all different kinds of brown. I didn't even know there were so many types of brown paper, honestly.
Neither did I.
I didn't know there were so many different kinds of gripper tape, either. I've learned all about this stuff. I didn't know there's so many different kinds. But one of the reasons we stay with ShipBob is because we've really tried to perfect the damages. It's a huge thing. And we've gotten to probably the lowest we can as far as damage rate right now. And then being an IPP has helped a lot because it's a shorter transit time now. So before we were only in Bolingbrook, now that we're in New Jersey and California, that transit time is much shorter. So that's less time that a damage can occur. So that's helped our rate a lot, as well as lower our costs a little bit. But no, it's really been a challenge, particularly with hazmat. We have to limit, what people can buy. Yeah. We have to limit weights. We have to limit box size. And then again, it's the customer experience with it having to come in a certain way. But I think we've done, like I said, it took 4 to 5 years to get where we are today.
Well, we appreciate your partnership and working with us over the years. Matt, let's hear about Jones Road and some challenges.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you're right. Fragrance and nail polish are definitely the two hardest things to send. And we've had great experiences with ShipBob. I think one of the things also that we went live with ShipBob at the Moreno Valley facility in February. And we knew that it was going to help our customer delivery time, especially since right now we only have one warehouse on the East Coast, I'm sorry. When we went live with the West Coast, we knew the shipping times would be drastically reduced, and we were about 5. We're at 1.9 days now from the West Coast facility, which is great. What we didn't anticipate is all of the social feedback. So we actually have a group of people called the Roadies on Facebook who follow our brands, and there were a lot of posts saying, oh, I guess, Jones Road now opened a facility on the West Coast, and look how good our shipping times are. So we knew the shipping times would be better, but it's really interesting to see the feedback that they had from it directly.
Awesome. And I know you, Matt, for Jones Road, y'all are global. So any unique challenges, outside of the U.S. that you faced with in the beauty industry?
I think when we first started with ShipBob, we probably did it backwards. Our first facility was actually in the EU. So we had a lot of learnings there, but it was easy to get set up. I think looking at the difference in the customer patterns, so we do notice something different where our average units per order are lower in the EU than they are in the US. So trying to understand why, trying to figure out what that variation could be, and then look at the different marketing strategies associated with each of those countries.
Okay, so in preparing for this, I chatted with both of you. You're very customer-centric brands in your own way. But as you scale and grow, which y'all have done, how do you ensure that your operations strategy kind of stays customer-centric as you scale? And Lauren, let's start with you.
Okay. So one thing that the customer experience has always been the most important thing to me. And I know that everybody, we talk about this and everybody says that, but I'm extremely serious about it to the point that every single person on the e-commerce team has to spend an hour a day reading our customer service tickets and actually replying to them. So not just going through and reading them. Everybody, including myself, I respond to tickets, call customers all the time myself. They have to go into ShipBob and Shopify. They have to refund the customer. They have to know how to do a replacement. They have to know how to go into the apps if it's like a recharge issue or it's our loyalty program, whatever that is. They all have to know how to run it and run our e-commerce store on their own. So everybody does that for 1 hour every single day, whether it's graphic design, whether it's not really their job role. If they're part of the e-commerce, I expect that they know how to do it. So that's actually helped us tremendously. I take it really seriously. The customer service people, they really like it because they feel like we're supporting them a lot. They know that they can come to us at any time. We handle all escalations, all disputes, like the PayPal disputes, all these disputes that we get. I have somebody on the team and we handle those. So I take that really seriously, and really our whole strategy over the past 7 years has been centered around what we've learned from all of those tickets, from what we've learned from the customer. We've actually done some collaborations. People will tell us what they use a product with, and we've reached out to brands to do collaborations and things like that. So the other part of the thinking with that is that when you're in e-commerce, it's sort of like you're in a virtual world, and I feel like you can easily get disconnected from the customer. So you see all these orders, you see all these tickets, but I think people don't realize there's somebody like behind all those. There's someone behind there, right? There's someone behind all those orders. And I think that when they get to see and work with the customer, they realize that it's not just a number, it's not just another order that goes through Shopify, not just another thing. So because we're kind of not working with the customer in a retail store, I think it's important that we spend as much time understanding and working directly with the customer on our own, and that's why I have them actually respond to the tickets on their own, not just read them.
I loved that, and just selfishly, when you told me that even your graphic designer knows how to use the ShipBob dashboard,
yes, they do.
It's that easy to use.
It is.
So
No, everybody,
I
everyone on the
appreciated
team.
that.
So if we need to do a replacement or even a return, anything like that, everybody knows what to do. If somebody is out, like I always want it to be that everyone understands the actual operations of what we do. Maybe not all the apps and all of that in Shopify that we have, but at least the basics, knowing how to respond, calling a customer, definitely doing a return or a refund, things like that. Everybody on the team knows how to do, regardless of their role.
I love that.
Yeah.
And Matt, I know when we were chatting, inclusivity is a huge part of Jones Road. So tell us a little bit more about how you maintain that customer centricity as y'all grow.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that's really important is how we get to know our customers and how our brand knows our customers. So even from like an HQ standpoint, all of our employees have to spend 1 day every 6 months working in one of our stores. So it not only helps us understand the operations part of it, and being part of the operations team, I really enjoy that, but it also helps understand what the customers actually expect when they come to a store. To me, the knowledge we gain and the feedback from that is so great. And also we have a really interesting, unique program where we offer virtual shade matching. So you can send a picture of your skin to any of our CX associates and they will match your shades virtually. So if you can't make it to one of our stores, you can send this in there, and in a few days they'll tell you what shades of all of our products would work for you. So we're really trying to make sure that wherever you are, you can have that customer experience with Jones Road that is paramount to the success.
That's great to hear. So let's talk about when you were stressed out. So, which happens pretty often. I think that's something that's come up today. And while we aim to make it, things as chaos-proofed as possible, we know that we're not perfect. Things will come up. Tell us about a time that your ops were stress tested and how you responded. And Lauren, I'll start with you.
Okay. So I would say every day is a stress test. Like, I haven't had a day that there wasn't some kind of stress over like how the package is going to arrive or seeing the ticket, whatever. So every day is definitely a stress test. I will give you guys one thing that happened. So over the years, I was saying how we try to really perfect how to get our product to the customer. And one thing that we've done is it's called gripper tape. So we put this little piece of tape that goes on top of any product that has a sprayer or a pump. And that helps within the shipping any leaks. So it has helped considerably. Amazon uses it on some of the brands. We know it's not the best experience. People don't like getting a beauty product with tape on it, but it's really easy to get off, the one that we're using now at least. And we felt that the customers are used to it, and so we've gone with it because we've really had the damages low. But I will give you a time when we were about to run a huge promotion, and we decided to get a different type of gripper tape where the adhesive was stronger, that we thought would actually be better, because this promotion in particular was around our liter bottles, so our bigger bottles. So anyway, we sourced the tape, which was costly to do that. And basically, the tape was so strong that it ripped off off the entire bottle. We had to replace at least like 300 to 400 orders from that. So every single person emailed us with a picture, and by the way, we actually have to have the ingredients on the bottles. That's a requirement. So the gripper tape ripped off all the ingredients. It ripped off the front of the bottle. It destroyed it. People were putting the pictures on social media, the whole thing. Everybody was so upset about it. And we were trying to do a good thing. We were trying to do it so it would be better, but the tape went onto bottles that it shouldn't have. So on the larger bottles, it was okay, but the bottles that are 2 ounces, it looked like a joke. It looked like we literally just put the whole product in tape. So people were like, oh, this is spam. We got all that. People are saying this isn't real. This isn't from the manufacturer. It's a joke. So that was a whole big thing. We got flooded with tickets, so we had to let the people keep that. We had to do a whole apology, note to everybody, and then we shipped them a brand new one without the tape on it. But things like that happen, you just wouldn't know. You wouldn't think that a piece of tape would create some kind of damage like that, and social media broke out with that. But anyway, we changed it. We changed it as quickly as possible. The people were happy that they got an extra one for free. I told them just use it as a refill, and we're shipping you the new one. And we had to ship it really quick, because when people bring up spam, and unfortunately there's a lot of spam on the internet right now, and you can buy from unauthorized sellers. So we had to I think we had to do overnight shipping as well for all of that, just to make sure people knew that we were serious, that it was a mistake, that we were so sorry, we didn't mean to wrap the product in gripper tape. And all that. So anyway, that was definitely a stress, but we've moved on from there, and now we know better not to get that one. So
it sounds stressful and costly.
It was costly. It was the whole everything. Yeah.
Glad we made it through that with y'all.
We did.
All right, Matt, what's your stressed out story?
So we launched SPF this year, and we launched in July. We were actually supposed to launch SPF earlier in the spring. And we made a business decision not to launch. We pushed it back. We changed and reorganized some things. So we actually had to send all of our products back to some of the warehouses. We did some culling work, and ShipBob actually helped us. We sent all of our UK and EU stock back to the warehouse there. We then went live with it a few months later, no issues. So definitely stressful, where you're trying to launch a product that is not only regulated but regionalized, and then you have to go back and do it again. So it wasn't the best experience, but really, the facilities with ShipBob helped us get through it.
Well, I'm glad the partnership helped through these stressful moments, and yeah, we're here. Hopefully, no more in 2025 or 2026,
No.
But we'll be here if it happens. Okay, so I know both of y'all are growing really, really fast. What's next for your brand, whether that's new markets, channels, new product launches? And Matt, let's start with you.
Sure. I mean, I think the beauty business, right, it always has to be, you have new launches, we have new products, we have shade extensions constantly coming out. It's also a level of how much you want to customize. So on our website, you can order the 101 set, which then you could pick your shades of our top products and have that sent to you. We're also really big into the brick and mortar part, so interesting to hear Bobby and Casey talking before about brick and mortars making a comeback. I think for beauty, brick and mortar's always been there. It's just there's lots of changes to it. You see more brands doing consignment inventory. You see some of the fashion brands doing lease models. We're actually opening up our 9th and 10th store this year. We're opening up a store in Dallas this month, so it's great for us. We opened up Austin earlier this year, so Texas is obviously a big market for Jones Road. And it's nice because our customers can have that in-store experience where we feel that there's a good customer segmentation.
I love that. I still remember getting Bobbi Brown back in the mall back in the day. So very exciting for the Dallas store opening. Do you have one in Houston yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Austin's the closest one to here.
All right, I'll look out for it. Lauren, what's next for It's a 10?
Yeah, I think we're really trying to focus on personalization as much as we can do with packaging, with the website, with everything. I know we've been, doing personalization for a while, but I mean, do it in a different way. So personalization, again, even like how we respond to the customers, make it a personalized experience. While other people are going towards like the AI route, I think we're still going towards like getting to know the customer route and being like as personal as possible there. Also, we're looking at some of the marketplaces that ShipBob introduced us to, like Shein and Temu, and seeing where we might fit there with some of our products. So expanding there, and then obviously taking all the channels that we're in and just elevating what we do and just always making it better and never kind of standing away and saying that, hey, this is done and we're moving on. Like we kind of always go back and just make sure that we're actually optimizing everything that we're doing to like the most extent we can. And then, of course, we're going to be coming out with new products and things like that along the way. So I'm really excited for what's to come for the brand.
Awesome, and I know that's top secret, but we'll look out for what's coming.
Yeah. Yep.
So exciting stuff. Okay. Well, I think we can do a couple of audience questions, but before we do that, I know we've got other beauty, personal care brands or just operators in the audience. What's one piece of advice you would give to another brand in your space that's looking to scale and grow like your brands have?
Okay, I would say to scale, I really would spend time with the people, if it's not you, that work with the customer the most. I really think, like, out of every report, because I get hundreds of reports and we all look at all these reports, but what you learn by actually like being with the customer and actually like reading those tickets and like trying to call them, you learn a lot more, and at least it'll connect the dots for you from what the reports are saying and what the people are saying. So I would say spend as much time as you can in that realm, if that's possible at your company.
That's great advice. Matt?
I would say be consistent in what your brand stands for. So both from a product standpoint, so if you have a customer that's shopping in the Netherlands, we want that same experience to have the same customer shopping in the UK or on the West or East Coast. It also goes down to like what your overall brand messaging is. So we're a very minimalist brand, so our packaging, when you get your box, isn't this big showy package. It's a very minimalist, which ties along with what our brand signifies. So I would say keep the messaging consistent and true with your product values.
Okay, so focus on the customer and keep it consistent.
Yep.
Great advice.